I, Stephen, 35 Mim, am a detective in New Jersey. I have been non-contact with my parents and my golden child older brother Christopher, 42 Tiram, for the past 20 years. The reason is pretty bad. When I was 15, I caught my brother, who was 22 at the time, with my girlfriend at her house after she called out of school, and I dropped by to give her homework. When I say I caught them, I mean they were in bed together. They had not heard me. And I phoned the police. They arrived whilst they were still going at it and arrested my brother immediately. My brother saw me outside crying and realized what happened and was threatening me. My parents took his side and told me I should have just let it go and ignored it to keep the peace. As my brother was facing major felony charges, they blamed me and sent me to go live upstate with my grandparents. My grandpa said he would take me on the condition that he took my sister Cleo, 37F. Cleo obviously didn't want to be anywhere near my brother. My extended family found out after my ex-girlfriend's father went to talk to my dad and asked to see me. My father, Joe, 62, said he sent my treacherous ass to live with my grandparents for not sticking by family. The guy beat up my father and put him in hospital. My mom, Kathy, 61F, told the family it is because my ex seduced my brother. Her brother, Henry, 64M, remembered my ex was 15 and hit the roof. My parents and brother were kicked out of the family, and if they tried to contact us, there would be trouble. So my brother went to trial. I had to give evidence. He was found guilty, and because my ex got pregnant and had a termination, the judge was not very kind. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison and to be registered as a sex offender for life. The last time I saw my parents was at his sentencing. Uncle Henry stood in between them and my sister and I and told them not to talk to us. My ex's father was sentenced to 2 years probation for attacking my father, but I think the judge didn't want to give him the sentence and the DA got him to plead out, as he had to take the case to trial but understood why he did it. After finishing high school, I decided I wanted to become a police officer. I worked my way up to detective. I met Amber, 36F, my wife, and then we had 2 kids, Lucas, 12 Midder, and Tiffany, at 9F. A couple of weeks ago, my parents reached out as they wanted to meet their grandkids. I told them, as far as I am aware, their only grandkid was terminated. My mother accused me of holding a grudge and that there should have been enough time to let it go. I asked if my brother still lived with them. I already knew the answer. They said yes. They know my job. I said I would not have my kids around a registered sex offender. My sister Cleo left for Wisconsin with her college boyfriend husband Anthony, 39 Menners. My parents tried to get to her wedding, but Uncle Henry said no. Grandpa walked her down the aisle. No one has told my parents where Cleo and her husband and their daughter are, and no one intends to. As my parents had spent all our college savings on my brother's defense, there was no money for my sister and I to go to college. So, our family banded together and with loans, what little money they could scrape together, and my uncle got me a job as a welder's mate in the summer, I made it out of college with less debt than if I were still with my parents. Anyway, I feel I may be rambling. The reason I am telling you this is whilst I was working at a burglary downtown today, there was a call over the radio at my address. So I rushed over to my house to find my parents with my brother in tow, banging on my door, demanding to see their grandkids. My mother saw me and started yelling at me that I could not keep her from her grandkids. A couple of patrol cars arrived. I told my parents to leave and to take that child molester with them. On hearing that, one of my colleagues decided to do a search on him and found a gun. As he is a convicted felon, he was taken in. My father started yelling at me, saying it was my fault his son was arrested. The other officer took my father to one side and, in no uncertain terms, told him if he did not leave, he was taking him in too. Luckily, my kids were not home, but my wife was pretty shaken up. I don't need to deal with this whilst working on this burglary case. I phoned my grandpa and told him what happened. I think he phoned Uncle Henry as he said he would sort it out. I don't know why I am just venting into the space. Okay, buddy. When are you going to stop dying to that one jump? You should be ashamed of yourself. I expect that you will have beaten this level when Part 2 comes out. Click this video to watch Part 2.